Hey, what is up, Warriors? It's the Quadfather here for goals number 2. This year, throughout the year, we're going to be following up on goals that you've made and that I've made. But after the first one, I came to realize that we have to be pretty clear about what we're doing. I see goals as kind of 3 types of things. You can have your traditional goal, I want to be a doctor, I want to lose weight, all those types of things, right? Everybody understands that. Well, the second one are challenges. Challenges are things that you set for yourself, and they're very time limited. They can be a day, they can be a week, they can be a month. Like I was talking last time, like how we didn't, drink anything but water for a week or a month, actually. Or they could be like when what did we do? We didn't eat chocolate for 3 months in my family. We went a whole year one time without even eating French fries. That's not a hard challenge, but that's the whole idea about challenges, is you want them to be time oriented and not too difficult to make or to succeed with. Okay, so another area is wants. Some people were commenting in the section below, I want this, I want that. Well, that's not really a goal. That's like saying money is a goal. What? Okay, you don't want money. If I put you on an island with stacks and stacks of money, what could you do with money? Money's useless. So it's really what money affords you, what you can do with the money. So you want to be successful so that you can have the things you want, do the things you want, help the people you want, right? So money, not really a goal, really being able to help the people or to buy the things that you want or to have the freedom that you want. That's really what you're talking about when you say I want. But that's really not what we're talking about. We're talking about goals and challenges, okay? So goals. Okay, they can be short-term or long-term, right? You can make them for a year, you can make them forever. Things that you want to do or accomplish or become in your life. You want to be famous. You want to have, a lot of people were talking about how many subs they want. Matter of fact, Quad was talking about how many subs or Twitter followers or things like that. Well, really, in order for a goal to be successful and for you to be able to measure it, you have to be able to have steps along the way, right? So every time I set a goal or a challenge for myself, I want to be able to, at the end of the day, evaluate whether I've made progress towards that goal or whether I haven't. Because that's the problem is, you think about it, how much have you heard about New Year's resolutions in the past few weeks? Well, how much do you hear about New Year's resolutions in June? You don't, because either people have reached them or they haven't. So that's why I like breaking up goals into small little pieces of challenges for each week or for each month. So if you can't think of a goal or a challenge that you want to do, I'll suggest a couple. One is just write a sentence about each day. Simple enough, right? Innocuous, pretty easy. Or how about take a picture that represents each day? Okay, those are simple. But the reason I point those out and I suggest those if you haven't thought of anything else is because you realize how difficult it is to do something every day. And we're going to talk a little bit about next time. We're going to talk a little bit about what happens when you fail. What happens when you fall short of the goal that you set for yourself? Because that's what happens, right? People set these large goals and they don't achieve them or they mess up along the way. How do you counteract that? Okay. So in order to have a success in your goals, you have to have a well-constructed goal. Okay. So challenges. I really have enjoyed in the past, 4 or 5 years, really, setting up little challenges for myself because it drives me throughout the day. Every time I encounter something that will either propel me towards my goal or move me further away from my goal, I'm faced with an opportunity. And it keeps it fresh in my mind. It also has to be time limited. Okay, you have to be able to evaluate your progress for the day and for the week and for the month. Okay, so because if you have the goal of, graduating college, well, that's probably a long way away. So what do you have to do to reach that goal? You have to do things like study every day or study before you do your homework, or study before you do homework. What's that? Study before you do video games, or the other thing you need to think about is when you're creating your goal. Sorry about that. When you're creating your goal, you want to think, what are the things that I do that when I've done them, I like me more? That seems simple, so I'll say it again because it's actually not quite that easy. What are the things that I really like about me? When I do something or when I behave in a certain way, what are the things that make me most proud of myself? Okay, and set that as a goal for yourself. Okay, so you want to be able to measure it. One of the rules I have is if I was following you around with a clipboard, or two of us were following you around with a clipboard, and you had a certain goal, and we were both making a check mark every time you reached that or made a movement towards that goal. At the end of the day, would the both of us, the two evaluators, have the same number on our check marks that you did? So it has to be observable, it has to be measurable, it has to be time oriented. And most of all, you want to have fun with it. You want to have it be a challenge that's difficult, so it stretches you, and that you're doing something new and positive for yourself. But you don't want to make it too hard that it's going to overwhelm you. Okay. Okay. So the other thing. Okay, I'll give you a couple examples. All right. Let's say you want to improve your KD. Right. You want to improve your KD. So what are the steps you need to do in order to improve your KD? Well, what I've seen is that the MLG players, they warm up offline. So they're getting their games under their belt while they're warming up, but it's not going towards their KD. Okay, that seems pretty good. What if you made a resolution that you were only going to play in a party or play a little bit slower? So you can evaluate, am I playing in a party? Am I playing a little slower? These are things that can help you improve your KD. I mean, this is not a video gaming video, but you know, those are things. Or what if you wanted to raise your grades, right? So maybe I want to be on time to class. I want to be on time to every class. I want to take notes in every class. Maybe I don't use my cell phone in class. Those are measurable, right? And then when you're moving along, you can reward yourself with video games, but only after you do your homework, right? Maybe you decide that you're going to talk about school to your friends that you know. Okay, so because a lot of people don't talk about school because it's not cool or whatever. So those are just some of the steps that you could take if your goal was to get better grades in school, right? All right, so now some overall tips just that I think have been very helpful for me. One is get up early. I'm a person, I get up really early. I get up before 5 o'clock every morning. I go to the gym because nothing can get in the way. You know, it's very hard. Not many people ask for an appointment with me at 5 o'clock in the morning. And what do I have to cut out? Well, there is a cost because I'm in bed between 9 and 10 o'clock. Because I always wonder, well, between 9 and midnight, what am I doing that's productive? How am I helping myself? But if I go to bed early, then when I wake up, that time is really, really productive. So getting up early. Also, sometimes people are stuck. They just don't have any momentum. They don't have any drive. So I say just take 15 minutes. Just take 15 minutes, look around your room, just clean up. Just set the timer, do it for 15 minutes. And just see how much you can get done in 15 minutes. I mean, everybody has 15 minutes to spare, right? Just don't play a game of domination. It's simple enough. Don't, you know, and that'll get you moving. Or maybe take 15 minutes and just study. Just study for 15 minutes. I mean, it's simple enough, but that's enough oftentimes to get people moving and get people in motion. That moves you. Any movement is going to help you get closer to your goal. The other thing is, I said this last time, but I can't emphasize it enough, write it down. Write it down. Talk to somebody about it. Keep a record of it. You will really, if you write it in the description below, write what your challenge is. That's what I'm asking of you. Write how you're challenging yourself in the description below, because just the fact that I've told you that I'm going to do certain things makes me come back and tell you about them and kind of holds me accountable. I always, if I have an idea that I'm going to waver on a goal or something like that, I'm like, oh, well, I said this on the video, and so now I got to kind of follow through. And even though you guys aren't in my life for real, you're in my life virtually, and I have to be accountable to me and to you. So write it down. That makes you more responsible. Another one is give yourself a little bit of a break. If you mess up, which we're going to talk about next time, if you mess up, just hop right back on the horse, okay? So that's a few of the tips about setting goals, setting challenges for yourself. And you know what? I noticed in the last video, I got a lot of comments about this Walter White character. I don't know how I feel about that. He's not exactly the most favorable character in the world, but I have one thing to say. I say, Skylar, you think we're in danger? We are not in danger. A man opens his door and gets shot, and you think we're in danger? I am the danger. I'm the one that knocks